H-O-T-T-O-G-O, you can take me hot.
Y'all have no idea how long that just took me to get that down. It shouldn't have taken me that long. It took me a long time. But that's the type of dedication I have to making good content. So a woman celebrity is getting a lot of hate on the internet. I know, who would have guessed? Who would have thought it? Never heard of such a thing. Golly gee, this must be a first. And in this video, I will be covering two separate topics as to why Chappell Roan is getting so much hate as of late. The first one being that she's a little bit upset at her fans for not treating her like an actual human being, which she is. And the other one being that she recently made some online liberals pretty upset with a political statement that she released in an interview. That's another thing. Who's ever heard of online liberals being upset? Where's all this coming from? So first, let's start off with the controversy between Chappell Roan and her fans. So this story first took off about a month ago. So it's kind of old news, but I still wanted to talk about it because I can do that and I'm gonna do that, okay? You can't stop me. But it all started when she posted a pretty lengthy statement on her Instagram story. And I don't really want to get into every single word that she said, but basically the gist of it, for the past 10 years, I've been going nonstop to build my project. And it's come to the point that I need to draw lines and set boundaries. I want to be an artist for a very long time. I've been in too many non-consensual physical and social interactions. And I just need to lay it down and remind you, women don't owe you shit. I chose this career path because I love music and art and honoring my inner child. I do not accept harassment of any kind because I chose this path, nor do I deserve it. And to me, that seems like a very normal statement. She's human, you know? We're all breathing oxygen, we're all eating food, we all shit out of the same butthole. Well, technically it's different buttholes, but like it's still like, you know, like we all have a butthole. Why the fuck did I say that? God damn it. I just ruined this entire video. I might cut that out. She later goes on to say that she doesn't agree with the notion that I owe a mutual exchange of energy, time, or attention to people I do not know, do not trust, or who creep me out just because they're expressing admiration. And still, I think that's accurate. I think that's normal. Just because you're passionate and you love doing a certain thing, but that thing just so happened to make you famous because, you know, you're good at it, you're still a human being. I don't know what we're arguing about here. There were a lot of people that took offense to this, saying things like, she's mad about having fans? Calling out to her when they recognize her on the street or asking for a photo isn't abuse or harassment, lol. I don't know if she's cut out to be a pop star. Of course she can say no, but she can't be mad at fans for being excited to see her. And it's like, yeah, dog, like, no shit. Where in that did you get that she's mad about having fans? She's never once said that she's mad at having fans. It's just probably pretty annoying, you know, whenever you're trying to walk down the street, maybe go to a grocery store, and you have people come up to you that think they know everything about you and, you know, probably try to give you a hug without your consent, or having multiple people trying to have a conversation with you when all you're trying to do is like buy milk. Yeah, that'd probably get a little bit frustrating because you don't owe these people shit. She makes music, and if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. But you don't know who this woman is. And I understand the argument to this, but Max, she's famous and she has a lot of money. She has to expect this. This is just how it is. Well, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't. You can still act normal around people. Probably about 95 to 99% of the time, a celebrity or an influencer's fans are like genuinely good people. But the fact is that you do have that fringe of people that are like completely nutty. They're weird. They try to find where you live. They stalk you. They drive by your house. They start looking for you, bro. Like, it's fucking weird. And I think a prime example of this is what we see a lot of times with Twitch streamers. You could be a totally reasonable, nice person just doing an IRL Twitch stream, and you'll have some crazy lunatic that doxes you. And it's fucking weird. It's not normal. That's loony shit. And I'm pretty sure that it's that type of people that Chappell Roan is talking about. She's not talking about normal people because normal people are sick. She just said people that think that she owes them something, which she doesn't. She doesn't, okay? I'm gonna say it, bruh. This shouldn't be a controversial opinion. After this, she also released 2 TikToks in regards to what she was talking about, kind of giving a more clear explanation on it. So here are the TikToks.
If you saw a random woman on the street, would you yell at her from the car window? Would you harass her in public? Would you go up to a random lady and say, can I get a photo with you? And she's like, no, what the fuck? And then you get mad at this random lady? Would you be offended if she says no to your time because she has her own time? Would you stalk her family? Would you follow her around? I'm a random bitch. You're a random bitch. I don't give a fuck if you think it's selfish of me to say no for a photo or for your time or for a hug. That's not normal. That's weird. It's weird how people think that You know a person just because you see them online or you listen to the art they make.
Okay, so now that I've watched that, I think I understand more of what that other comment was saying about how, like, Chappell Roan doesn't want to take pictures with her fans, because that is something that she just said in the TikTok. I forgot about that. Okay, I'm sorry. I watched the TikToks in preparation for this video. Okay, I forgot. Okay, my bad. But still, I think the point remains valid. For me, I would be honored if there was a person walking along the street and they saw me and they recognized me from the internet and was like, hey, can I take a picture with you? I think that'd be sick. But I also have 3,000 subscribers. So I can't really relate to having the feeling of like so many people knowing who I am as I'm walking down the street, not being able to go places without having a bodyguard for fear of what these crazy fans will do if they see me. It's got to be a little frustrating at some point, but I don't think that anybody is obligated to owe their time to you just because of the profession that they're in. That's just my opinion though. Girl, wear a disguise if you don't want to be recognized / approached by fans in public. People saying hi and asking for pics is not abuse or harassment. Two things here. two things. Wearing a disguise at all times, it has to be really fucking annoying. Honestly, it might be a little bit fun for a little bit, but I think I would just kind of like to just go out normally every once in a while without having people, you know, swarm to me. And also, yes, you are correct. People asking for pictures is not harassment. But she did also say stalking her or following her home, and that is harassment. Now, all of that being said, I think that a woman has every right to set boundaries. So I think everything that she says here is perfectly valid. I don't understand any of the hate that she's getting. Women should be able to set boundaries. I would say, in fact, that they should set boundaries. That's a good, healthy thing to do. And I think that everybody else should respect those boundaries. And if you do take offense to what she's saying, then, I mean, you could just stop listening to the music if you're that upset. It's a pretty easy thing to do. You could block her, like, whatever. It's not hard. This isn't the end of the world. She also clarified in a recent Guardian interview that fans think I'm complaining about my success. I'm complaining about being abused. It's as simple as that. Chappell Roan is a normal human being just like you and I. The only difference is that she has gained a massive amount of success in especially this last year, going from about 1 million Spotify listeners to 45 million, which is fucking insane. Having this amount of eyes on you at all times is not normal. This is exactly why so many celebrities and influencers experience imposter syndrome. And that's because there are so many people that are watching you, that are listening to you, and they all have a different perception of you. Everybody in your life, everybody on the internet perceives you differently. And it kind of makes you like reflect on yourself sometimes. And you're like, wait, am I like this? Am I like that? Wait, do they actually know me better than I know me? Like, it's weird shit. And I understand that the argument to this is that, you know, she's a millionaire, you know, she can take it. This is just something that comes along with the job. And believe me, okay, if you've watched me, y'all know I hate rich people. But whenever I talk about rich people, I am talking about people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. I'm talking about billionaires. And I feel like sometimes millionaires and billionaires kind of get lumped into the same thing because most people can't even comprehend $1 million, let alone $1 billion. But these are two very different people right here. Chappell Roan is someone that has been working on pursuing her passion for the past 10 years, growing her fame very slowly and then skyrocketing very quickly, compared to someone like Elon Musk, whose father stumbled upon an emerald mine, to which Elon Musk was set for life and continues to make more and more money while exploiting all of his workers. Very similar to the way Jeff Bezos exploits all of his workers or any other corporate overlord. So no, I don't think that because Chappell Roan is a millionaire, I don't think that she should just accept harassment from people. I don't think that people should be stalking her on her way home, trying to find out where she lives, coming up to her and hugging her without her consent. These aren't normal things to do. It's fucking weird things to do. I think she explained it very well in her Instagram post where she said, this situation is similar to the idea that if a woman wears a short skirt and gets harassed or catcalled, she shouldn't have worn the short skirt in the first place. It is not the woman's duty to suck it up and take it. It is the harasser's duty to be a decent person, leave her alone, and respect that she can wear whatever she wants and still deserve peace in this world. And I think that's a very accurate way to describe this. Everybody should be allowed to set boundaries and you should respect them. That's pretty simple. I don't know why this is a hot take. This shouldn't be a hot take. She also said in a recent Guardian interview, I am in therapy twice a week. I went to a psychiatrist last week because I was like, I don't know what's going on. She diagnosed me with severe depression, which I didn't think I had because I'm not actually sad, but I have every symptom of someone who's severely depressed. I think it's because my whole life has changed. Everything that I really love to do now comes with baggage. If I want to go thrifting, I have to book security and prepare myself that this is not going to be normal. Going to the park, Pilates, yoga. How do I do this in a safe way where I'm not going to be stalked or harassed? And that fucking sucks. And like, would you treat any anybody else this way if they said that they had severe depression? I would hope not, because that's really fucked up if you would. Let's take Chappell Roan out of the equation, okay? Let's pretend this was your sister, your mother, and they said this same thing. Please stop touching me. Please stop being weird to my family and my friends. I'm scared, tired. What would you think? Would you think to yourself, they don't get to tell me what to do. I'm gonna touch them all I want. You can't stop me. Probably not. Just because somebody just so happened to get famous by pursuing their passion, by pursuing the thing that they love to do, does not give you the right to fucking touch them, to violate their personal space. And the fact that she's already like experiencing depression because all of this, and she suffered with mental health issues in the past, like, why are we shitting on this woman? Now, with that being said, her releasing her statements, I was actually a little bit surprised about. As a very large creator, it was obvious that she was going to get a lot of hate from this. So honestly, I give her props for talking about this, because even speaking about this, and especially as a woman online, especially as a queer woman online, the amount of hate that you would receive from this would be astronomical, which it was. So honestly, I'm just wishing her the best of luck. I'm wishing her well, and hopefully this mental shit that she's going through will hopefully get better over time, and she can kind of adapt to this space that she is now in. But that was only the first controversy. We are now going into her second controversy, and as I said, this one is a bit more political. I know, what the fuck am I doing talking about politics? I've never done that before. So in her recent Guardian interview, she was asked about endorsing Kamala Harris, and her response to that kind of took off on Twitter, the greatest app on the planet, and by greatest I mean the absolute fucking worst. In this tweet that blew up to have over 71.8 million views, she was quoted to have said, "I have so many issues with our government in every way. There are so many things that I would want to change, so I don't feel pressured to endorse someone. There's problems on both sides." And liberals were a little bit upsetty spaghetti. Here are some of the very insightful quote tweets. "Problems on both sides is such an uneducated, lazy, and reductive way to boil down the race at this point. Be for real." Personally, I think it's a little uneducated and lazy to not read her entire quote on the actual Guardian website, but we'll get to that in a little bit. "I'm tired of artists like Chappell Roan profiting off of queer and drag culture and then refusing to do the bare minimum when it comes to standing up for LGBTQ+ rights, because she's probably afraid of getting canceled by a small portion of the internet, or is just uneducated." Oh, okay. So she's profiting off of being queer. How are you queer, an ardent defender of the drag community, and somehow a both sides are bad person? Genuinely asking, is Chappell Roan actually queer, or is she just a culture vulture? So more people asking the question if she's actually a lesbian. Love to see the homophobia just rising in the Democratic Party. It's super cool. Love this world that we live in. So that's just a fraction of the quote tweets that this was getting. So now I'm going to read you her entire statement to The Guardian. "I have so many issues with our government in every way. There are so many things that I would want to change, so I don't feel pressured to endorse someone. There's problems on both sides. I encourage people to use your critical thinking skills, use your vote, vote small, vote for what's going on in your city." And then it goes on to say, "The change she wants to see in the US in this election year is trans rights. They cannot have cis people making decisions for trans people, period." Holy shit. It's almost like if you actually did a tiny bit of fucking research, you might have understood a little bit more of her perspective. But no, we can't have that because media literacy doesn't exist anymore. We love to read headlines and get pissed off at them without doing the slightest bit of research. Here we have Cam Coconut Tree saying something really, really stupid. "I thought Chappell Roan was like 20 or something, but she's actually 26. Old enough to have been adult during Trump's first term, and old enough to not be catastrophically ignorant of what's at stake. She's either a fool or a closet Republican." And there were many other people that were saying that she must be a Republican. She doesn't want to piss off her Republican base, which might just be the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. Because if you've been paying attention to Chappell Roan at all for the past few months, you would understand that she is not at all a Republican. And she's not going to dick ride a party that has facilitated and enabled an ongoing genocide for the past 11 months. Because back in June, Chappell Roan was actually invited to go to the White House for their Pride celebration, to which she declined. Why did she decline? Well, in her words, "I'm not going to go to the White House because I'm not going to be a monkey for Pride." She first revealed the declined invite during her set at Governor's Ball in June. Dressed as the Statue of Liberty, she dedicated "My Kink is Karma" to Joe Biden's administration and said, "We want liberty, justice, and freedom for all. When you do that, that's when I'll come." Then referring to the famous lines on the Statue of Liberty's pedestal, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." She spoke out in support of trans rights, women's rights, and freedom for all oppressed people in occupied territories. Roan told Rolling Stone that when she first got the invite, she considered going, but not to perform. Instead, she wanted to read poetry in protest of the US government's support of Israel's war in Gaza. "I had picked out some poems from Palestinian women. I was trying to do it as tastefully as I could because all I wanted to do was yell. I had to find something that's tasteful and to the point and meaningful, and not make it about me and how I feel. While Roan said she felt this was her one chance to stage such a protest directly in front of the president, she ultimately decided against it after discussing the plan with her publicist. While supportive, her publicist argued, "You fuck with the president and the government, your security is not the same, and neither is your family's." Also, for every UK tour ticket that was sold, $1 went to the LGBTQ+ rights charity Kaleidoscope Trust, and at the merch stand in Manchester, there were signed risograph prints selling for $100, with proceeds going towards aid for Palestine. So the fact that so many of you dumbasses just read 2 sentences and came to the conclusion that she's somehow a closeted Republican, or she doesn't want to get rid of her Republican base, y'all are so fucking stupid. You have more brainworms than RFK Jr. And he actually had brainworms.
Hey everybody, these are my 2 ravens. They're not actually mine. I'm just taming them.
And I understand what the argument to this would be from liberals. But guys, Trump is really bad. He's so bad. He's so bad. We don't want another Trump presidency. We all need to come together and have Kamala win. And I would agree that Trump is worse than Kamala. Any leftist, like myself, like Chappell Roan, we all understand that things would be worse under Trump. But at the same time, if you are not holding your politicians accountable for the atrocities that they are currently fucking committing, you are no worse than the enemy. Every single politician should earn your vote. That is the point of a politician. You should not see over 17,000 kids get ruthlessly slaughtered and not say anything about it. So since I originally recorded that, there has been many updates to the story, so here I am to fill you in on the updates. First of which, Chappell Roan ended up releasing 2 TikToks addressing the controversy, which honestly, I will say, if I was in that position, this is from me, I wouldn't have said anything. Because you can't win. These people that think this about you, they've already made up their mind. I understand that she probably had good intentions with trying to clear up her name, clearing up some misconceptions about where she stands or what she thinks that you should be doing in this upcoming election and just in politics in general. But if I was in that position, I wouldn't have even spoken about this at all. The people that have made up their minds about you, they've made up their mind. They don't care what you have to say. They look at the world in black and white. They see red, they see blue, and they're like, that's the good one, that's the bad one. But in her first TikTok she released, she went over her entire quote that she said to The Guardian instead of just those 2 sentences that took off and everybody made up their minds about her with. And she also clarified that she is not voting for Donald Trump, which was already very apparent to anybody that has a fucking brain. But there is one mistake that she made in that TikTok. And that mistake is that she never said that she was voting for Kamala Harris. That is the cardinal sin, because if a celebrity is not voting for someone, how am I gonna know who to vote for? How am I gonna know what to do if a celebrity isn't telling me what to do? So after that TikTok, people were still really upset at her. So she ended up releasing another one. Still, like I said, I don't know why she did this. I am not saying this in a derogatory means by any way. I think that she had good intentions with this. But when it comes to the internet, you are always going to make people upset. And anybody that actually knows Chappell Roan and has known what she has stood for, what she has donated to, what she has raised money for, they understand where you are coming from. But her final TikTok, and the one that has gained more traction, is this one. In the description, she says, "I'm done talking about it. If you don't get what I'm saying from this, it's a lost cause, and I'm not forcing you to agree with me. This is my statement. Have a good day."
I just woke up, and to like people just skewing it even more. Endorsing and voting are completely different.
Which is correct. Just because you don't endorse someone doesn't mean that you aren't going to still vote for them. To the people that never went to grammar class, here is the definition of endorse: to declare one's public approval or support of. So yeah, in a perfect world, I would hope that none of us would be endorsing Kamala Harris, as she has been the one that has said that she will back Israel no matter what, as they are continuously bombing children.
Would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense.
But no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No.
I would hope that nobody would endorse that.
Obviously, fuck the policies of the right, but also fuck some of the policies on the left. That's why I can't endorse. That's why I can't like put my entire name and my entire project behind one.
Chappell, why are you not endorsing the person that is helping kill 17,000 kids? You're supposed to do that. Why aren't you doing that? That's what y'all sound like. You should be questioning politicians. That's all she's saying to do. I know, it's really easy to say, well, that side's bad and that side's good. So obviously I like the good side. The good side's good, the bad side's bad. That's not how the world works. In this past week, an innocent black man was executed because of the death penalty. And statistically, 4% of people on death row are innocent. Where was Kamala's statement for that? I didn't see it. She got all the smoke for protesters spray painting on a fucking bell while we had an internationally recognized war criminal speak to Congress, but an innocent black man being put to death? That's just America for you. You should be questioning your politicians. Every politician. These are the people that control your fucking lives. You should be demanding more of all of them. And yes, maybe one side is better than the other side. That doesn't mean that they're good. So yes, not putting your entire persona, your entire brand behind one person is normal. That's valid. That makes sense. What are we upset about here? Instead of being upset with individual people like Chappell Roan or even me or anybody else around you, be upset at them. Y'all are putting your energy in the wrong direction. Can we be upset with the people that are complicit in Can we be upset at the people that are not providing you with free healthcare? Can we start being upset at those people now instead of a fucking singer? I've been rambling for too long though. Let's let Chappell Roan cook.
Because there is no way I can stand behind some of the left's completely transphobic and completely genocidal views. So yeah, there are huge problems on both. Fuck Trump for fucking real, but fuck some of the shit that has gone down in the Democratic Party that has failed people like me and you. And more so, Palestine. And more so, every marginalized community in the world.
Now, one of her comments right there that some people were a little upset about was the fact that she said that some Democrats are transphobic. As we can see with this tweet that says, are the transphobic Democratic policies in the room with us now? So here, now we're gonna look at some stats. In 2023, the United States saw more bills targeting gender-affirming healthcare than the last 5 years combined. And currently, in 2024, there are 80 bills that are being considered at the federal level targeting trans people. And yes, it is true that most of those, if not all of those policies were written by Republicans. But can anybody tell me why Democrats are not writing any policies to go in the opposite direction at a federal level? And yes, at the beginning of 2023, several Democrats introduced the Transgender Bill of Rights, which has gotten nowhere so far. And in fact, in places like New Hampshire and West Virginia, Democrats actually joined Republicans in passing anti-trans bills. This is exactly what we saw with Roe v. Wade. Democrats had the opportunity to codify Roe v. Wade into law for many, many years, to which they never did. And then Trump's right-wing Christian nationalist Supreme Court overturned it and took it back to the states, in which many states there are women that are not provided with reproductive health. And why was Trump able to fill the Supreme Court with right-wing Christian nationalists to do that? Because Ruth Bader Ginsburg was way too selfish to step down when Obama was president, but then she ended up hitting the curb under Trump. So yes, Republicans are bad, and they continuously try to push for bad policies for marginalized communities, but Democrats are also not going in the right direction, and you should be demanding that they are. And this was the first year since 2012 that the DNC did not have a trans speaker. So yeah, maybe people like Biden or Kamala Harris don't outwardly say that they hate trans people, but they aren't doing anything to keep you safe. And you know, if you're kind of complicit in that, I mean, you are kind of transphobic, aren't you? Just saying.
So no, I'm not gonna settle for what the options that are in front of me. And you're not gonna make me feel bad for that. So yeah, I'm voting for fucking Kamala.
Hooray, hooray. She's voting for Kamala. We're all happy now, right? She said it. She said the words. Oh, we're not happy? No, we're still upset because she doesn't fully support a candidate that will enable a genocide. Okay, yeah. I guess I'll be upset at Chappell Roan for a little bit more. And then the rest of the TikTok is basically just her reiterating the same message. Just her clarifying that you should think for yourself. You should stand for something more than a political party. And that right now voting is the only two options that we have. So she will be voting for Kamala. But of course, liberals are still not happy with her, as they love to be upset with anybody that does not dick ride the Democratic Party. I thought this TikTok by Dr. Zeke Taylor was pretty good. And by good, I mean bad.
I just woke up.
Well, good morning.
Obviously, fuck the policies of the right.
All right, we're on the same page on that one.
But also, fuck some of the policies on the left.
Oh, now you lost me.
Now you lost me. The left doesn't do anything wrong. They've only done good things. They will only ever do good things. They don't do bad things. My tiny pea brain doesn't understand what critical thinking is.
That's why I can't, like, put my entire name and my entire project behind one.
I mean, that's kind of how voting works right now in America.
Actually, it doesn't. Putting your entire persona, your entire brand, your entire project behind one person is not how voting works. What the fuck does that mean? You don't have to fully support someone to vote for them. And that's something that she explains in the TikTok that we already went over. And that's something that he already watched. You're just voting for who can be less fascist. And America is a fascist country, so they're both gonna be pretty fascist.
You know what? Endorsing someone, if someone is publicly endorsing a political figure, that doesn't even mean that they're gonna fucking vote for them.
I mean, what's the strategy behind that? I mean, after the primaries, I don't think that's a thing. I don't think there's any benefit to a corporation or person endorsing a candidate in a general election and not actually doing it.
I'm gonna keep it a $1.50 with y'all. If I am ever this fucking boring, please just block me. End my fucking life, bro. If I am ever this fucking boring that I'm just staring at my phone screen watching a TikTok and talking in the most monotone fucking voice I've ever heard, that's it. I'm done, bro. I'm leaving the fucking internet. I'm out. Like, goddamn, bro. You couldn't have, like, thrown in, like, one joke? You couldn't have even, like, just changed your pitch in your voice a little bit? Just to make it a little more interesting? Listen, I'm Gen Z, bro, okay? I need a little bit of entertainment in my media.
No. This is not me playing both sides.
Sure about that?
I'm critiquing both sides because they're both so fucked up.
Yep, sounds like you're playing both sides.
Two people can be bad, but they can be bad in different ways. Like, if somebody was mad at me and told me to go fuck myself, that's probably a mean person. But if somebody else came up to me and, like, broke my ankle, I'm pretty sure that guy might be a little bit worse. So yeah, two people can be bad, but they can be bad in different ways. Like, one of them is definitely worse than the other. The one might have hurt my feelings a little bit, but the other one, like, took my leg.
I hope this makes it clear that no, I'm not picking the sides of what we have right now.
I mean, it kind of sounds like you've picked a side in terms of voting for Kamala Harris, but you just don't know much about the rest of the Democratic platform. But you can certainly read it. It's online.
Yes, Dr. Zeke, you can read it online. Or you could listen to Kamala Harris's DNC speech, where she claims that she's going to be tougher on the border than Trump is going to be.
I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law.
And as president, I won't only bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump tanked. I will do more. Those who cross our borders unlawfully will be apprehended and removed and barred from re-entering for 5 years. We will pursue more severe criminal charges against repeat violators. And if someone does not make an asylum request at a legal point of entry and instead crosses our border unlawfully, they will be barred from receiving asylum.
It's kind of wild how 4 years ago, Democrats were very anti-border policy, and rightly so, because it's awful, saying things like, no, we don't want kids in cages, to now 4 years later saying, no, kids in cages. There is a term for this. It's called the ratchet effect. Republicans are very good at putting policy in place. They're very good at completing their agenda. And as so, Democrats keep moving further and further right because they can still technically be on the left as long as Republicans are moving further right into fascism. And the border policy is so stupid to begin with because they claim that they're upset with crime or all the drugs that are coming in, which is wild because American citizens do more crime than undocumented and documented migrants do. And that's per capita. So what, are we gonna start deporting American citizens out? Actually, I retract that statement. They're gonna hear that and they're gonna think, yes, as long as you are not white and you perform a crime, you're out. Like, that's where we're headed in 10 years, bro. And if you want to talk about drugs, over 80% of the fentanyl that's coming into this country is by American citizens at regular points of entry. And these are really easy statistics that you can look up yourself. So pretending like Democrats or Republicans actually care about crime or helping people is wild. No, they're just racist. Yes, Donald Trump might be more racist than Kamala, but they're both racist. So after all this happened, Chappell Roan actually ended up canceling her NYC and DC performances this past weekend. And her audience seemed like they were very understanding of this. Of course, they want her to prioritize her mental health. And you don't exactly want to go to a concert where the person you're seeing is very obviously not feeling it. You want to see a good performance. So luckily, a lot of her actual fans were very understanding of this. But it does really suck that just doing a simple interview led to all of this backlash and hate and ended up making her mental health even worse after she has already stated that she has severe depression. It's a really shitty situation, and TikTok and Twitter users are definitely not making this any easier for her. As we can see with liberal hegemony enjoyer saying, if Miss Roan had media literacy, she wouldn't have made a series of videos incoherently rambling about both sides that were only understood by her diehard fans and highly insular leftist teen echo chamber. Which to that, I would say I agree that she shouldn't have made any TikToks. You're never gonna make these people happy. Saying things like genocide bad shouldn't be a controversial opinion, but for some reason in America it is, because as long as Americans don't see it, it's not happening. But I would definitely argue that her media literacy is much better than all the people that are reading a couple headlines and making assumptions about her or complaining about the fact that she's not supporting a candidate that will continue bombing children. I'm actually pretty sure you guys are the ones that don't exactly have media literacy here. To anybody that's been watching what's been happening in Palestine over this past year, it's heartbreaking, it's disgusting. I wake up every day and I see more dead kids, and this shit fucking terrifies me. And I'm sure it terrifies everybody else that's watching it that wants to keep up to date. But to liberals that are just in it for their team party, they just want their team to win, as long as they themselves are perfectly safe and sound, they don't exactly care how many kids are being killed by the billions of dollars that we are currently sending to an ethno state.
Say it again. Say it again.
Mock them again. Mock the children again. Do it again. Do it again.
18 years old. 18 years old. Yusuf Hassan.
And to me, that is more shameful than anything Chappell has had to say. Okay, what's the big idea? Who keeps changing my shirt? So with all that being said, yes, you should vote. I don't want this to discourage anybody from voting. Voting is important. If you can do it, you should do it. But there's a lot more to do in between elections. As Chappell said, pay attention to what's going on in your city. Call your representatives. Donate to mutual aid funds if you can. Unionize your workplace if it's possible. There's a lot more to do. And maybe we should stop being upset with people like Chappell Roan, who obviously wants to see change. And maybe we could direct that energy to the people that are not improving your material conditions. Can we do that? Can we do that? I think that sounds good. But thank you all for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video when I am hopefully not talking about politics. But you know what? Maybe we will. I don't know.